To this day, not one of them have said anything to you because not only are they cowards, but they still are playing the role of this little group that pretends like they know you so they can run their mouths all over town. The truth is, if any one of them would come and have a conversation with you about what they were told, they all know that you could bring verifiable facts that prove that what they have been going on for as long as you can remember about you has been a lie. You could even identify where they heard the lie from, and you could even explain why that person's lying. The interesting part is that you don't care, and they must continue to run their mouths for that reason alone. If you cared, they could simmer down and stop. They wouldn't have to keep up the facade. But because you don't care, they need to continue to pour flames on the fire, to pour fuel on the fire, because they can't let it go out. Talking about you is the only way that they get attention. Talking about you is how they have formed a lot of their connections in their life. And none of these situations actually hold depth. So it's not like they can really talk about much else, being that the depth itself is missing. If this is for you, you have a group of people who treat it, teaching you a lesson, bringing you down, humbling you as a sport. But it went from like flag football to like the Hunger Games. They took it too far. Because somewhere in there, it reached a point where they weren't winning, but you were so outnumbered that to admit defeat to one person would be so embarrassing for all of them. So they took it a little bit further and then a little bit further and then a little bit further, thinking that eventually you were gonna lash out, and then they would have their reason. They'd have their excuse. Look, we had to do this because look at this person. Look how much of a problem they are. Until you removed yourself from the situation, but the problem didn't come with you. So they had to put 100 eggs in a basket built for 10 and try and get you to overreact, which, to be honest, at this point wouldn't really be overreaction. It would just be sheer reaction. But they need something that they can warp into an excuse as to why they did that to you. So not one of them can come and approach you because it will solidify to them that the entire group has lost. They can't get you down to their level. And boy, did they need to. Whoever it is that they pray to, if prayers would have been answered, it would have been that. But there's a lot of people who are about to see that not only did they choose the wrong side, but when their own pattern recognition, intuition, eyeballs were telling them that they messed up, their ego wouldn't let them turn back around and see. Because this entire thing was them hating you because you held up a mirror. And none of them can come and confront you because that would make them have to admit that who they actually hate is themselves. And that's a real tough pill to swallow that they're not ready for. So they'll continue to hate you And they'll continue to be cowardly about it, completely void of any bit of a backbone. And that should not affect you in the slightest, because it simply is a description, a visible description of how much they hate themselves and how badly they want it to villainize you to make the self-hatred a little bit more easy to deal with. None of that is your problem. It never was for a second. And I do not have Facebook, no Facebook,